Close enough. Rough Magic, starring Kieran Torres, Donald Von Griffin, Leslie Danneberger, Lloyd Montgomery, and me, GM Brendan Blackmore. Tonight's game brought to you by Leinenkugel's assortment of shandy beers, which are various fruit-flavored concoctions.
Okay. But does that technically make it a beer or a wine beverage?
No, it's a beer. It's a shandy, but...
beer and lemonade.
Well, this one is actually watermelon, and then the other ones are grapefruit, orange, and then the traditional summer shandy, which is lemon.
Beer and
they're really low in alcohol. It's like 4.2%. It's like barely even beer.
Yeah, it's a decent craft beer cut 50% with lemonade.
Yeah, but it's the
The
kind of thing you just like sit and like drink like it's soda, you know.
Yeah, the trick is the real shandies use sparkling lemonade, which we don't get down here very often.
Well, this is made in where? Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
all right. Last week on
are really big with the old dock workers up in like Nova Scotia and Newfoundland.
All right. So last week, two different things came up. Doxeladon was approached by the Egyptian to find an artifact that he was supposed to be able to buy, but the guy who is going to arrange the sale has been murdered. But no hurry on that, from the Egyptian's point of view. Johnny Diamond was approached by Marguerite Degan, whose sister was missing for about a week. Then she was found and brought home by the police. She was not all there. And she asked, the police investigated, did a cursory investigation, and didn't really find anything, and just went, c'est la vie. And, yeah, you know, because Helene Degan is home. She's there, you know. She's
well, body anyway.
A little bit scratched up and bruised, but she's fine. So they figured everything's fine. So Marguerite hoped her sister would come out of it, and after like a month, she didn't. So that's when she contacted Johnny Diamond to find out what happened to her sister, who did this to her, what this is all about. And then he and Carol and Doxeladon went to the Degan estate, and Doxeladon did the whammy on her brain and figured out what was there. She's been magically subjected to some ghastly, horrific visions, and she retreated into her mind to protect herself, and that's where she still is, somewhere in there. In the process, he got images of a couple of guys, and then made those show up in the real world, and like a mirror, showed them to Marguerite. And one guy, she did not know who he was, but the other guy she identified as Michel Galabru, a casino owner that she knows her father had owed money to. As far as she knows, those debts were all paid months ago. So, and that's kind of as far as we got.
I believe so, yes.
Now, I know, Donald, you said Johnny Diamond wanted to do some investigatory stuff, but hang on a second, because I want to involve Leslie's character in this somehow.
Okay.
Leslie, can you think of anything that would involve your character in anything that's been mentioned so far?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, most of the time my band performs at Johnny Diamond's club. So all he has to do is talk to me if he thinks I can help.
Well, you never know. Speaking of, let's dig up. Did I had a character sheet for you here somewhere?
Yep.
Nope, but that's not it. Let's see. Leslie. Oh, I had it as a document. Let me open that up. Let's see if we can get you sorted out. Yeah, it's basically a piece of paper. Okay, so perception goes away. Boop, 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 boop. Will is now presence. You had 5. Oh, hey! I've got to wait for you to be involved if you want.
What's that?
As the boyfriend of Helene, because she had one.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to? You want Leslie Leos Liath? How do you pronounce?
Well, it's pronounced Leslie, but it's just
Oh.
spelled weird Celtic.
Okay, but it's a boy Leslie. Is that the
It's
deal?
a boy Leslie.
Does
yes.
boy Leslie like girl humans?
Yeah. Well, boy Leslie likes girl humans. Yes.
Cool.
Boy
All right then.
Leslie, being an elf, of course, likes girl humans. It's like a thing.
Well, everybody else put your fingers in your ears, and I'll tell Leslie the lowdown on Helene and Leslie.
Okay.
So here's the deal. They were not exclusive. Like, Leslie has other women on the side, and Leslie knows that Helene had other guys on the side, but they would see each other like every few days and take a tumble, as it were, and then she would take off.
Mm-hmm.
And does that work for you? Does that
Sure. Yeah.
violate
Well,
anything that...
He's A, fairy, B, a singer in a rock and roll band. Of course he's playing around.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, because Helene was not possessive at all, and would have reacted poorly had Leslie been possessive. Now, Leslie knows Helene was seeing other people, in particular, one guy in particular, who she did not like, but she was seeing him for other reasons. So, that may come up later. What else? Leslie didn't even really know Helene was missing until he went. It had been like a week he hadn't seen her, and he was like, "Well, that's odd." So he went to her house, and he would have met Marguerite, who told him that she was missing, and Marguerite would not have told him anything other than that. And basically, get the impression Marguerite does not approve of Leslie. Marguerite is, from Leslie's point of view, uptight. And I'll show you what Marguerite looks like. Hang on. This is Marguerite. Oh, I'll share Marguerite and Helene since you weren't here and you didn't see them. Here's Marguerite. Oh, damn it. Hang on. Doodly doodly doo. One more time. This is... Okay, there we go. That's Marguerite.
She looks uptight.
She's whip smart, but as far as Leslie's concerned, she's like a battle axe. And it's like she's like judgmental. Judgmental and serious and really no fun whatsoever. And from Leslie's point of view, wants Helene to have no fun whatsoever. So that's basically, when you come looking for Helene and Helene's missing, you get that much out of Marguerite. And Marguerite at first thinks Leslie's to blame for it, but clearly you're not, because you didn't even know she was missing. And at that point, Marguerite just tells you to leave. So there's that. And Helene she's actually like 1 year older, but she acts like she's the younger sister. So that's Helene. Now, as far as Leslie knows, Helene is still missing, because no one has told Leslie that Helene was found a month ago.
Especially
Being
not
a fairy,
her uptight sister.
yeah, her uptight sister is not going to come tell you that she got found. It just wouldn't even occur to her. Now, Leslie, being a fairy, might not be the sort of thing that would worry Leslie on a day-to-day basis. But I'm imagining that when Leslie does find out that Helene's been found, and then you weren't told, that might arouse some irritation. I'm just guessing.
Oh yeah, very much.
All right. So, but for now, you don't know, and you probably haven't really thought about it for a couple of weeks because you're a fairy. But last time you heard, she was missing, and that was like a month ago. All right. So, What else happened? That was the weekend when you did all the investigatory stuff. Sunday came and went. Johnny Diamond comes home. Oh, that's right. Monday, Johnny Diamond was going to do some hardcore investigation stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, Carol might have had some investigations of her own she was going to do. I know Donald already knows what he wants to do, so Karen, give some thought to what Carol might be wanting to do so that you're ready when I'm done with Donald. Is that cool? All right, cool. So, Donald.
Yes.
You get back to Cafe Azure America, and Monday morning comes, and tell me what's going on.
Okay. Basically, well, first off, Doc Celadon gets catered.
Catering?
Yeah, put hot grits in the sidecar of the motorcycle, make sure he eats well. He might be asleep for a while. Doc Celadon gets catered.
Okay.
Important thing first, take care of your people.
No one's going to drag him into, drag him up into
People
or drop him into a spare bed or something.
Well, I think you could best do this at home.
Ah.
But the last thing I need is him waking up hungry.
Fair enough.
Besides, he did me a major favor, so I'm doing him one.
So what did you say, Lloyd?
I said, well, it's nice to see that he's taking care of his people.
Okay, so you arrange some takeout food for Doc Celadon.
And then I'm going to basically dive into the day of figuring out how the underworld connects to the vegan company.
Okay, we're going to call this diplomacy. Because diplomacy is the ability to adapt to your social environment. And Johnny Diamond's not new in town, so he probably knows a lot of people.
Yeah.
And knows people who knows people. He knows a guy who knows a guy. So, let's see.
Probably got connection.
And he has connections.
I have connected.
So how about we do this? Make a diplomacy roll and get a bonus die because of being connected.
Okay.
Do you have any other gifts that would give you any bonuses on this, do you think?
Minions, but that's kind of part of connected. I think it's just my amazing reason.
Okay. Do you have expertise in diplomacy?
I do not have any expertise in the rebuild.
Okay. So,
That's
2d6 plus a bonus die on diplomacy, which is a reason roll. So, I'm sorry, presence roll. So, presence plus 3d6.
Okay, 11 on the dice plus a 6 makes it a 17.
And I roll against you. Although I'm going to give myself a penalty die because the stuff you are looking into is not exactly secret. Like, it's all... None of it's done in back rooms. Like, for example, the Deegans and the fact that their father, a couple of years ago, handed control of the company to his daughters. That's not secret information. You just have to know who to ask. And who the father owes money to, again, not secret information. I mean, he went to a casino. It's in public. It's borderline, crooked. But it's almost certainly a crooked casino. But it's not secret.
Make
so
sure that the business isn't already being a front for something.
Yeah, well I won't give myself a penalty die for that because if you roll really well, I'll give you some stuff that actually is secret. But if you just are on the edge, I'll give you all the stuff that is just a matter of knowing who to ask. So, and that's what being connected is all about. All right. So, And your total was what?
17.
Okay. Well, that is a extreme success. So, I'll give you all kinds of stuff. Let's see. Actually, it'd be easier if I'd show you a picture. Here's a picture. Like to see it? Here it goes. Made it myself. Actually, let's scroll up just a little bit. Because that's too much secret stuff. Okay, so this guy here, that's Michel Galabru. You find out, without really trying, that the casino that he owns is the one where Edouard Dagan spends most of his time gambling and picking up prostitutes and otherwise wasting his money and going into debt. With that good of a roll, you find out that about 6 months ago, he was in so much debt that his life was actually in danger. But his debts got paid off, probably by his daughter, or one of his daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And with your great roll, you find out that she actually cut him off. That's the word on the street. Of course, he kept gambling and went into debt some more, so it's all kind of sketchy from there.
Right.
Let's see.
So he is back in debt.
Almost certainly. Okay.
Yeah.
Wrong guy. This guy. Galabru works for this guy, Henri Galat. He's a upper level, but not top level. Like a couple of steps down from top level. He's a major, but not top level local Mio gangster for the Parang. Okay, the Mio, which is basically the mafia, there's the Parang, there's the Algerians, or the Pied Noir is the Algerians. Okay, you got the Parang, the Pied Noir, the Maghrebi, and then the Gitan. The Gitan are like gypsies, like travelers, grifters. They're kind of outsiders, even within the Mio. Maghrebi, you met some of those guys last game. Pied Noir, the Algerians, are French ethnically, but actually they are the returning French people from Algeria, which was returned to Algerian rule like in the last 10 years or so. So Algeria was a French colony in the same way that the Americas were an imperial colony. But then Algeria rebelled and there's a war, and then the empire just decided to let Algeria be Algeria, and all the French Algerians came back to France. And that's who the Pied Noir basically are. They're the organized crime from Algeria that have come back to France. So they are French, they speak French, but they're not really French, they're really Algerian. It's weird. And
so kind of like real life.
Yeah, I guess. So anyway, but this guy, Parang, old school Godfather type gangster, as is Michel Galabru, Parang gangster. Okay. So let's see, what else might you know? Oh, here's something you would get with that great roll. You know that Pied Noir have been putting pressure on Michel Galabru because they want to move in on his casino. Because his casino is actually on the edge between a Parang controlled area and a Pied Noir controlled area, and the Pied Noir have been putting pressure on this guy's casino. So you don't know a lot of details about that, but that's what you've heard. Okay. Let's see. Anything else to be fun for you to know? Okay. Oh, and I guess I'll go ahead and tell you, because you probably would have figured this out. Helene Dagan has been seeing Michel Galabru for about 6 months.
Ah. Okay, so this may or may not be related to her father's death. Or her seeing him might be paying off her father's debt.
Hard to say. And just to refresh your memory, so we're all clear on what's going on. That's Helene, currently catatonic, and this is Michel Galabru, the guy she's been seeing for the last 6 months. So
Yeah.
It's like 5 miles of bad road.
it's like a
So it's probably not for his chiseled jaw.
And the weird thing is, she's the one with the money.
Okay. Any other questions from Johnny Diamond while he's making phone calls and drinking coffee and tapping into his contacts?
Just gonna make sure that there's nothing dirty in the company that maybe Marguerite doesn't know about.
Oh, all right. Well, if you ask into that kind of stuff, and you did roll well. So, okay, this is taking you like a good most of the day, right?
Yeah. I'm spending on it.
Like you call people and later on they call you back, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
About 2 years ago, Edouard Degon's wife died, like of a particularly nasty but very fast-acting disease. Maybe pancreatic cancer, who knows. Up to that point, he had been hardcore Lutheran, or actually, no, this is... oh, shoot, yeah, it can be Lutheran, why not? Well, there's a Gallican Catholic Church, which is like the official church of the empire, but there are other factions. They just don't have the benefit of being recognized by the crown. So anyway, yeah, he was hardcore Lutheran, no fun whatsoever, worked really hard, got up early, worked late, never had any fun. Then his wife died, and he's like, well, screw all that. I've worked really hard. It's time for me to do the fun things that I never did, and he became a wastrel. He put the company into the names of his daughters, both of them, and then he just started gambling and seeing prostitutes and drinking too much, and basically became just a terrible waste of a person. Of the two daughters, the one who actually runs things is Marguerite, the younger one, by like 1 year, although she acts like she's the older one. The brunette. She's really kind of a firecracker. The company is a real estate development company, and she has got the better of several of their competitors in and around, not just in Bretagne, but in the wider area of northwest France. Because she gets underestimated a lot because of her youth and her sex, and she has proven several times that she is more than a match, business-wise, for anybody they go up against. So, there's that. You find that out.
She uses their assumptions against them. She uses their assumptions against them.
Yeah, but not in a flirty, femme fatale kind of way. More in a, like, they leave an opening and she pounces kind of a way. Business way. She's a shark. Business-wise. So, there's that. Let's see what else. Helene, meanwhile, apparently inherited her father's penchant for fast living, because she basically has not been running the company at all. She basically just goes on her own way. So yeah, that's what you find out. Anything else?
No, from that I have to assume that the company at least is clean.
Oh, as far as you know, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I think that'll do for now.
So, Karen, Carol, back at work on Monday. Is there anything particular you think you'd find useful to look into?
Let's see. So since I was there when we picked up a voice character, I got some names to look into to see if in particular, see if any of them are connected to this stone. But
Yeah, basically trying to track down the stone.
The Nightmare Stone. Yeah, other than there's a folder, that gives a very rough description, which kind of matches the description Doc Celadon gave you.
Yeah.
But like last time it was seen was in Somalia. No, not Somalia. Serbia. Like 30 years ago. So it's just a kind of like a placeholder file. If it ever shows up, that's where things will go. And there are a lot of folders like that have like just a rough description of something, and like the last time it was seen, and basically that's all that's in that folder. So, anyway, this is one of those.
As I recall, last week you mentioned that it had shown up in like Louisiana and Paris a number of years in the past too.
Oh, sure. Why not?
There was something else I was going to look up that we had, but I was going to wait for whatever reason at the end of the last game. But it was like, I was going to look up mugshots, of the named people, mugshots and information on the people they mentioned.
As far as the SIT is concerned, Michel Galabru is not a person of interest. He's not known, as far as your agency knows, he's not known for trafficking in black market magic. He's just a garden variety criminal. Or below suspected criminal. Well, they just, your files just come right out and say it's a criminal, but they haven't been able to prove a case against him. So, because the assumption of innocence is a little bit different. It's like, they assume you're guilty. It's just, until they can prove you're guilty, you don't go to prison. So, that's kind of how that works. The other guy, the guy with the box, who was, Marguerite did not identify. He looked like this fella. Hang on, I'll show you him. This was the guy with the brass box that had the rocket in it. Just all kinds of confident.
Trustworthy looking individual, isn't he?
Yeah. Anyway, you don't know who that guy is. So you can flip through mugshots looking for him. Let's see. What would that be? What's a looking through mugshots thing? What would that be? Investigation. Duh. You want to make it an investigation roll, Carol?
Sure.
The watermelon was okay. It's like a faint watermelon. It's not overpowering like a Jolly Rancher, Just like a faint watermelon and lager flavor. Reason
that I have expertise in it.
Ooh, cool.
And I have a reason of 6, and it was 2 dice, correct?
3 if you have expertise.
3. Oh, yes, all right. I have 3 in my hand already. So, 6, 13.
Orange.
Orange.
I'm gonna have to try those. I'm a big fan of shandies.
We got these because they were at Costco. And we were getting beer for the tubing trip this past weekend where I got sunburned. And Susan called me and she said, "Here's what they've got in cans," because you have to take cans. And she read off everything Costco had in cans. And I said, well, that sounds summery and kind of thing you drink while you're tubing. Get that. So these are the leftovers of that.
Yeah, no, shandy's just about the perfect thing for the summery.
Okay, so Carol got 13.
Mm-hmm.
I got a total of 8. So, wow. Not only do you find his name, let me look up some other stuff I can give you, because that's darn good. Where was I? Oh, here we go.
I
No,
think he's
that's
a
not it.
bad man.
He's a bad man. Okay. Well, first of all, I can tell you his name. His name is Thierry Lhermitte. And I'll go ahead and share that with you. There you go. There you go. There's Terry. Right there. Thierry Lhermitte. And let me look up a little bit. And I'll tell you what happens to whom. Give me a moment. I'm refreshing my memory on this guy. I want to make sure I tell you everything important, but don't give away too much. All right, this fellow's name is Thierry Lhermitte. Again, as far as SIT is concerned, Thierry Lhermitte. As far as the SIT is concerned, again, he's not a person of interest. He's not known to traffic in black market magic. However, he does have a criminal record for car theft. He spent a couple of years in prison for Grand Theft Auto. That's all you know about him.
Okay.
Oh, and a current address. You can find a current address. Because as a former guest of the Imperial Penal System, they kind of keep track of that stuff. Or it may not be current, but it's the most recent address that they have of him.
All right. That'll be handy. Anything else I can think of? No, I think I just wanted to look. I was just going to look into those people. I don't think they gave me any more information I can look up.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, hey. I don't know if you guys care or not, but I wrote up some more for the districts of Camaret-sur-Mer. So,
cool.
If you get a kick out of reading travelogue information, that'll be fun to read. Let's see. I had a Crozon Peninsula map. Yeah, there we go. Let's put that over here. That may be handy later. Okay, so meanwhile, Doc Celadon, after sleeping in, where I'm a little bit unclear because Johnny Diamond's apparently providing you with catered meals when you wake up, and so where are you?
Probably at my apartment, which is one of the basement apartments surrounding the park where the ill-fated emerald buying expedition went down.
All right.
But after those buildings were vacated, I just moved. I purchased the basement apartment in one of them.
Okay.
So
well,
I'm hanging out.
One way or another, bags, like grocery bags, like brown paper bags of prepared food appear.
Oh, okay.
Probably shortly after you wake up, somebody knocks on the door. And it's just a delivery guy. And he's like, I'm here to deliver this for a Dr. Celadon?
Yes, that's me.
And I guess, and he points at like two more paper bags, like in front of the door. And apparently, this is not your first delivery of this kind. So, but I did not bring those. I just brought this. So
I'll gather them all up and get the guy and carry them all inside.
Chinese food, takeout bagels and baguettes, and a couple of containers of spaghetti, meatballs. It's just like random takeout food.
Okay.
Maybe a bit of curry. Who knows? All right. So you eat, perform your ablutions, ready to take on that day. What do you do?
Yeah. Once I'm up and ready, I will head down to the cafe and see who's there. I'm going to assume that Johnny is there.
So let's see. Johnny is apparently in the back. He's been busy all day with business stuff. Arlene tells you if it's important, she'll bother him. But if it's not important, maybe you should let it wait till tomorrow because he's been busy all day.
Okay, well, if you could just stick your head in there and mention to him that I'm here, then that will leave the decision up to him.
She thinks that's a good idea. Can't argue with that. And then she heads into the back. Meanwhile, over on the stage, the band of Leslie. I don't remember. Did your band have a name?
Did we have a name? I don't remember.
Leslie's band is practicing.
I think I did name it. But I don't know if I wrote it down.
Mondale.
The Darkwing Clock.
It would have been something Celtic because it's Celtic rock. So I'll name it. I'll rename it. But it's a Celtic rock band. It's got a Celtic rock type name.
Child Roland. What do you think?
Okay. Why not? Sounds
I don't
good.
know. It's like fairy related. I'm just throwing it out there. Anyway, Leslie's band is tuning up and putting their instruments on stage and unpacking them out of their, getting stuff ready. Violinist is ching 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 boom boom boom, like tuning the violin.
I am the violinist.
There you go. Oh, Doc Celadon comes in. The first person of your little extended human friends that you've seen today. Johnny's been in the back the whole time.
Is it give him a wave and have a seat?
Johnny, back in the back. Arlene pokes her head in. Now she knocks and then pokes her head in. And she says, Mr. Diamond?
Come here.
That Doc Celadon's out front. He said to tell you he's here. I told him that I'd tell you and that it'd be up to you whether you talk to him or not. So just letting you know.
Back.
Fat cat.
Send him back. Thank you.
Oh, will do. She leaves. A couple minutes later, Arlene comes over to Doc Celadon, brings him a glass of whatever his normal drinking beverage of choice is, clunks it down in front of him, happily, cheerfully, not angrily clunk, like happy clunk. And she says, "You can go on back.
Oh, thank you.
He's ready for you." And she goes on about her business.
All right. Head back and talk to him then.
Yeah. I figured by this time, you and Carol and Leslie are all well known enough to Arlene and the staff that they don't treat you as just the random strangers who need to be escorted everywhere. Okay. So you know where you're going.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, when he's not elsewhere actually doing something, useful and making money and things like that, chances are he's here, and probably pretty profligate with how much money he spends here too.
Cool. Well, I imagine Doc Celadon actually makes a pretty tidy profit. He's essentially a self-employed drug dealer, except he doesn't sell drugs; he sells magic. So you're like a and aside from the odd accoutrements and material components and that kind of thing, like powders and unguents and special kinds of silver and powdered iron and that kind of thing, none of which is particularly expensive. It's just rare.
Yeah. You try finding the finger bones of a dead man. Yeah.
Well, that's a weekend of a different type. Anyway, so exactly. other than excursions like that where he's got to go find his materials, mainly the cost of his product, as it were, is just his time. Yep. So, and you don't answer to anybody. There's nobody like up the chain. There's no like local mob boss who, not yet anyway. Mm-hmm. Which actually that's a little bit odd. But aside from that,
well, I've made it very clear in the past that if members of the organized crime want to deal with me, they can do so on a cash and carry basis. And no, I don't work for anybody. They can try and strong arm me if they want, but there's a reason why you don't mess with wizards in their domain.
I'm thinking once in a great while, some lower level Mio type comes and knocks on your door and tries to get heavy and has a bad bad weekend after that.
My response is usually violent and highly imaginative. So yeah, they'll end up with like, toads and newts and things like that coming back to their bosses. It's never permanent, but it's always embarrassing.
Yeah, so it's been a while since anyone has come and leaned on you in that fashion. A while, like by a while, I mean a couple of years, which is longer than it had been before that. Maybe they've got the message.
Now I'm getting a reputation.
Or that. All right, so where were we? Doc Celadon's walking back to Johnny Diamond's office. And gets there, I assume.
Okay, yep. Knock on the door, walk in.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Good evening, sir, and how are you doing?
Oh, Doc, have a seat. I've been busy finding out about our various friends.
Oh, do I have you to thank for the copious amounts of takeout delivered food that I have in my apartment now?
Perhaps. I told Arlene that you were to be taken care of.
Oh, okay. Well, she has exceptionally good taste in takeout food, I have to say.
Surprisingly so. I was very lucky to find her.
All right, so what has the senior side of the city of Camari Samir been telling you?
Well, it looks like we're dealing with the pain. Does not look like the business is in trouble, so Marguerite is probably free of their influence, but her father owes an awful lot of debts, and Elaine has been hanging out with what has been going out for about a month with one of their casino owners.
6 months.
They're 6 months.
Wait, she's been going out with the casino owner? Isn't he the one that I saw with her with the stone?
The big ugly guy?
Oh, that's just gross. There's a mental image that's going to take me days to scrub out of my brain.
Yeah, so imagine what sort of convincing it took to get her
Wait,
to go out.
she's the one with the money. What? Oh, never mind. I don't want to know. Human perversity has never intrigued me. Okay, so...
I assume she owes him as her father does.
If they're seeing one another, then why in the name of any gods did he do to her what he did to her?
Perhaps she wouldn't see him as much as he'd like. Perhaps the debt had grown.
And maybe she's got tired of paying her father's bills. They're seeing each other? Ugh. That adds an interesting little twist to the drama, doesn't it?
Indeed it does. Think of any number of reasons that this would be trouble. And I'd really like to know.
I must admit you've piqued my curiosity, too. Oh, and just to let you know, I mentioned to Margaret that she would be best if she employed a specialist to try and help her sister out. I could probably work on helping her aid her recovery, but it's not really my area of expertise. Mental magic is dangerous stuff, and it is best if you employ someone who is an expert at it. To the best of my knowledge, the church, their healers, have a number of qualified psychiatrists on staff in the area, so they may very well be able to find one local, completely legal. Now that they know what the cause is, that the solution to that problem, while difficult, is not impossible. Certainly wouldn't require, in my opinion at least, the use of someone like myself. Lowlifes. But anyway, I just mentioned that in case she comes back to you. That way you'll at least have that much information about the details of the girl's condition.
Yes, actually, well, that was very slick of you. I like the way you operate.
Sorry, say that again, Donald. I didn't hear you.
I say that was quite slick of you. I like the way you operate.
Well, bringing her back is going to be a rather lengthy process too. And as I said, I wouldn't want to slip up and make things worse. It is certainly a job that requires a specialist.
Yeah, well, I think when we're finished collating information, I think it might be time to pay Miss Marguerite another visit this evening. Fashionably late, of course.
Right around then. What? Wait, what, Leslie?
No, I was just laughing at his fashionably late.
Oh, okay. Right around then, Carol gets off work and I would imagine goes to the cafe.
Mm-hmm.
To the club. Cool. So Carol comes in and you see Leslie's band is getting ready to play on stage. They're at the talking about the playlist and deciding what they're going to play, what they're going to not, based on the look of the audience, because you adjust that sort of thing depending on audience. And
I'll be right back.
okay, so Carol comes in.
Wave hi and go ask Marlene if Dawn's character is available.
I'm going to say yes. So, going back, and if he doesn't want to see you, he'll let you know.
Sounds good, thank you.
We're going with the summer shandy now, the traditional lemon-flavored shandy.
All right, head on
The
back.
orange was okay. Orange is actually extremely subtle. It's like a very subtle orange. So
He said,
these are all pretty
the
subtle.
watermelon was too.
Yeah, the watermelon was pretty subtle. Not as subtle. The watermelon was watermelon, but subtle. The orange is even more subtle. But I guess it's easy to overdo orange. So they erred on the side of not overdoing it.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah,
the straight up.
wine and Googles are, as far as shandies go, wine and Googles are fairly lightly flavored.
Smells lemony. Kind of like a furniture polish.
Yum.
Well, yeah, that alcohol plus furniture polish smell.
Yeah.
I mean, lemon, alcohol, whatever. All right. So Carol, you go back to Giant Diamond, knock on the door, peek in. He's in there, as is Doc Celadon.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Carol, please have a seat. We were just discussing our friends that we met this weekend.
Ah, yes. Oh, that's why I stopped by.
How goes it amongst the minions of bureaucracy?
Sorry, Lloyd, I couldn't hear you.
I said, how goes it amongst the minions of bureaucracy?
Oh, the usual lovely red tape everywhere. Anyways, tell him what I found. Sorry, my brain has lost already the information.
Oh, Thierry Lhermitte and Michel Galabru.
Yes.
Michel Galabru is the criminal that they have not proved is a criminal yet. And Thierry Lhermitte is a former, he's ex-con who had done a few years in prison for Grand Theft Auto.
And I happen to have his last known address leased by the state.
That was the gentleman with the stone, right?
Yeah, the images you got from Helene's mind, particularly up and around the time that the event happened, are extremely scattered. So it's not really clear, like even what order they happened.
Okay.
But definitely, Lhermitte Thierry Lhermitte is the guy who had the brass box and opened it, and the stone was the thing that gave her nightmares.
Okay. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we should probably be talking to him before we talk to anyone else. If for nothing else, to find out why he enjoys torturing rich socialites.
Or that particular one.
Who knows? Maybe it'll give him a taste for it. But yes, we should probably start there. Alright.
Find out what the guy's last known address is.
Yeah, you find it.
Okay. Where is it?
It is a residence built above a garage in Telgruck-sur-Mer, which is inland, toward the mainland, toward the. What do you call the end of a peninsula that attaches to the bigger part of the land? What do you call that end? Anyway.
I don't know. The end of the peninsula.
Actually, I got a map. I'll show you. Here's a map of the Crozon Peninsula. You guys spend most of your time in the area marked Camaret at the far left. And Morgat and Crozon, they're very industrial. Roscanvel on the north is very working class.
Penny.
Between Lafrette and Landevennec across the northern coast is St. Barbe, the rich area, which is where you met Marguerite Degan. Telgruck-sur-Mer is southern side to the east. So anyway, it's less developed. It's not. It's still developed, but it's less developed. And in fact, hang on, I even wrote this up. Let me see if I can find a description. It's one of the oldest districts of Camaret-sur-Mer, with private one-story, two-story homes, many of which date back to the 17th century or earlier. There are a couple of old churches, including one that dates to the 15th century, etc., etc. So it's very old neighborhood, not as modern, not as developed with like tenement buildings and row houses and apartment buildings and factories. So anyway, so he's got a garage there apparently because his address is above it.
Okay. Is this guy Turing?
Not as far as you know.
Oh.
Do you want to, like, before you go, you want to, like, call around your contacts and see what you can find out?
Yeah, I want to figure out what family this guy's working for.
All right. Roll some dice.
Because if he is Turing, 3 dice again?
Yeah.
10 that time, so 16.
Wow. Okay, that was a harder roll, but you still made it. Yeah, as far as you can find out, so you guys basically leave Johnny Diamond alone for like an hour or so. He makes phone calls. What do you guys do for like the next hour? You can hear the band starting to play out front.
Go on, band.
Yeah.
Okay. Carol and Doxeladon come back out to the front and listen to the band play. And Leslie plays and everybody's happy. Yay. So Johnny Diamond, about an hour later, you get a couple of calls back. As far as anybody you know knows, nobody knows who this guy is, for the most part. And you're about to give up on it when somebody calls who says this other guy who knew a guy that you know, basically he knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows you. And he heard through the grapevine you were asking about Lhermitte, the guy with the garage. And this person says, okay, I don't know this for certain, but I'll tell you what I heard. I heard, and this is just between you and me. What I heard is he was in with the Pied Noir, particularly this one dame. He doesn't know the dame's name, but she's definitely Pied Noir, up and coming, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Tough cookie, hot as a sidewalk in June. No, August? August. Hot as a sidewalk in August. But tough. And that's what he heard. He was kind of in with the Pied Noir through her. But he doesn't have any names other than that.
Right, but that's information. So now we've got two different members of two different families involved here.
And they're working together.
Okay. I join the others and let them know that this guy with the garage seems to be working for one of the up-and-comers of the Bien Noir, whereas Michelle is of the Terrain.
Well, things are getting complicated now, aren't they?
Well, if nothing else, at least it lets us know that this isn't the Bering family that we're going against here.
Yes. That's all.
These guys seem to be working on their own. Which makes me quite a bit more comfortable going into this.
Agreed. All right.
I would probably decline to tangle with the terrain if it was one of their insides. But since it seems to be just general underworld things, I'm intrigued as to why he would go to someone associated with another family.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
All right. So,
So, any suggestions on what we could do before we bust in his door and ask?
Well, I guess we can certainly go talk to him and find out what he knows.
Yes, and if he offers to show you a rock collection, don't hesitate. Just knock him out.
Not a bad idea, really.
Okay, so you guys are having this conversation while Leslie's band plays.
Right.
And then the band takes a break. So Leslie can chat with people if he wants.
I look over at Leslie's character, well, at Leslie, as the band stops playing, and ask my compatriots, do you think we should bring some extra muscle?
something like this, extra muscle's always good.
I wouldn't argue against it. No.
And I would wander over to their table anyway, unless somebody else wants to talk, so...
Cool.
Say hi and offer him a seat.
Yes.
Hey, how's it going?
Good evening.
Well, things have been a bit dull lately, but they recently got quite interesting again.
But
Johnny is once again embroiled us in one of his seedy underworld affairs.
So what else is new?
Oh, it's not that seedy yet.
Oh, come on. We're dealing with at least one major betrayal here, and terrible, terrible, awful use of dark magic.
Supernatural, I assume as well.
Haven't really seen much of a supernatural angle on it yet, but the Nightmare Stone was certainly kind of an interesting, fun artifact.
Whoa. Have I heard about this Nightmare Stone?
Roll 2 dice. Tell me what you get.
I assume we're still on 6s.
Yes.
Okie dokie. Total of 7.
Let me see what I roll against you. Let's see. Call it reason. Your reason's 4. I got 8, 9, 10. That's like exactly what I rolled. Actually, that rings a bell.
Okay.
It's like part of a winter court thing from just eons ago. Stolen by some filthy human.
Okay.
Like it was actually part of something larger, and they like broke off a piece. So whatever it is, it probably doesn't work right. Like but it's been so long, you can't even really remember what it was supposed to have done originally. So originally there was this winter court artifact that did something about dreams or something, or the future or the past, something like that. And then some human ne'er-do-well came in and broke off a piece and stole it. Years and
I'll
years
tell
ago.
him it. I'll say, whoa, you are dealing with trouble. Winter court magic. Old winter court magic.
Really exciting.
Well,
But it's not doing what it's supposed to do because it's been broken.
Well, I'd certainly hope not, since what it's doing is really, really awful.
That's all I know. I don't know much about it.
would you be interested this evening in meeting the human who has tortured a young girl into catatonia with it?
Yes, I would, as a matter of fact.
I thought you might.
Maybe I can earn myself a favor with the Winter Court by returning it to them.
What was the girl's name again? Elena?
Helene de Gaunt.
What? What?
I was just going to ask, do you happen to know Helena, whatever her last name?
Helene de Gaunt. Degan.
Oh my God! They did it to her. They did this to her.
Yes.
She's one of my friends.
Oh, you know her?
I definitely would like to meet the human that did this.
Oh,
There may not be much left of him when I'm finished.
That's right. You're one of the.
Does that mean they found her?
Oh, yeah, about a month ago.
What? Why, that tight-ass bitch.
Oh, you met her sister.
Yes, her sister. Who else do you think I mean?
Well, actually, she's been rather helpful in all this.
Of course she wouldn't tell me. She doesn't like me very much. Don't
Well,
like
yeah,
her very much either.
One gets the impression she doesn't like much of anything very much.
Tight-ass bitch.
Yes, it seems that for about 6 months, Helena's been going out with a rather unsavory individual.
That wouldn't by chance be Michelle. She's mentioned him on several occasions. She doesn't care for him much.
Oh,
Apparently-
good. You're all the way up to speed.
Yeah.
You know why she's been going out with him?
Don't think she's said much. She hasn't told me much except to say that she sees him, but she's not happy about him.
Well, she's not saying anything.
Well, if this magic is as bad as I think it is, I'm not surprised. Especially if it's not working right.
It's very, very, very bad. In short doses, it induces nightmares. In long doses, it induces horrific visions, which cause you to go mad.
I'm going to kill him. If we meet this man, I'm going to kill him.
Do you, by any chance, know any healers who specialize in mentalism? I'm fresh out.
There might be some in the summer court, but you'd owe them a favor.
Oh, I wouldn't know them a favor. I'm not going to ask them to do anything.
Yeah.
I'm asking you. No.
Well,
One does not.
I can ask, but somebody's going to owe that person a favor.
Yeah, Leslie, if I could ask a favor of you,
Yes?
don't kill him until we get information.
Of course not.
I doubt he's the mastermind behind all of this.
You're probably right. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if that other fellow, Michelle, has something to do with it.
Yes, him too. Please don't kill him until after we've found out what he knows.
Of course not. As you well know, somebody who would do that to anyone, especially a friend of mine, I would make it slow anyway. I may be summer court, but sometimes.
Oh. Would you folks think me vindictive if I suggested turning his own artifact upon him?
Why, no. I've been curious as to what exactly it does.
Personally, I wouldn't recommend it. If for long-term exposure, one can never tell what the end result is going to be, other than insanity. But short-term, it probably wouldn't be. You'd probably get the desired effect anyway.
Well, if I knew more about what the full artifact does, but I don't. It's that old, and the stories are that old. So I'm assuming that I have time to finish our last set before we go on this little expedition?
Probably best to do this in the dark of night, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arlene brings over a tray of various drinks people have shown a preference for, including some kind of like weird Irish cider or something for Leslie. It's like imported from one of Johnny Diamond's old contacts or something. And then Leslie and the band continue their set, and you guys make like plans of an organizational nature, like who's going to drive and what you're going to take and what you're going to pack and that kind of stuff. And so later on, when you say, "Oh, I wish we brought this," you can say, "Oh yeah, we totally planned that. We brought that. Sure."
All right, so I assume from Leslie's reaction that we're probably going to kick down the door and start busting heads. What other kind of operational details would you want to go over before we actually get to the head busting stage?
He's asking you guys, not me.
Well, I don't remember if I would have given you already the information I had, what little information I was able to get over the weekend.
Okay.
The fact that what was it? I couldn't really get much on any of that. Anything unfortunately on the object you had asked about, other than because that's out of my department a little too much.
Well, the SIG has a. Go ahead, Lloyd. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to ask Johnny if I could borrow his telephone for a few minutes.
What was that?
He was going to ask
Can I borrow your phone for a few minutes?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Sure. Johnny waves to Arlene. Arlene waves to somebody else. They bring her a phone. She brings you a phone. She sits on a table with a long extension cord.
Well, actually, I put it someplace it's a little quieter, but...
that works too.
But anyway, I'll just call a couple of people that I know, other individuals like myself that I've had contact with, and see if I can find out anything more about the Nightmare Stone and who might have it.
Oh, well, that's easy. Probably no one you talk to has even heard of it. It's been out of circulation for decades. And you can go roll some dice. Roll investigation or thaumaturgy, whichever one you prefer.
Yeah, they're both reasons. So.
Do you have expertise with either of them?
No, I didn't like what happens if you take multiple expertises with thaumaturgy. So.
No. That's okay. Thaumaturgy, there's two separate things, and
Oh, okay.
this I'll explain it now. In case you want to change something, you can give it some thought. You can decide later. You can have expertise in thaumaturgy. You just get a bonus die whenever you use it. Casting a spell, researching something, whatever. It's just bonus die. Then there's specialization. If you specialize in something in thaumaturgy, you get a bonus to another. If you already have expertise, it's another. If you don't, it's just the first one. If you have specialization in one of the avenues, you get a bonus die using that avenue and a penalty die using all the other one, everything that's not that avenue. But that's separate from expertise.
Okay. Then I've got an unspent experience point. I'll go ahead and make thaumaturgy a expertise.
Wise move.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll 3d6 plus reason. I'll roll against you. It'll be hard. So we're talking like pretty high roll. Where's the mouse
14,
pointer? Well, I will click something as soon as I can find my... Where are you? Oh, there it is. Okay.
That's a problem with having multiple monitors right now.
It's like it could be anywhere. All right. You rolled 14. Let me see what I roll.
14, yes.
I rolled mediocre. Let's see. What was the difficulties? I'll make this the second or third. Difficulty. Moderate, remarkable, or extreme. We're going to call this extreme. So, because this has been out of circulation for a long time. And I got a total of 15, and you got a total of
14.
No one you call has any idea.
Okay.
And hasn't even heard of it, actually. It's been out of circulation that long.
All right.
Which, even that tells you something.
Oh, and well, I've got them on the phone, see if they know anything about a guy named Gaspard Clark.
Make another roll. That's just investigation. That's not magical.
All right. Great, I did better with the investigation roll with one less die. 15.
And I got a 13. So, no, most people don't know the name. One person you call does know the name. He's associated with the military research group out at
military affairs. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they know he's associated with that. Out on Ile Longue, where the submarine base is. That's really all they know.
Oh, okay.
Oh, actually, that was... I'm an idiot. That was big news. Yeah, he was murdered. Sorry, I forgot. That was big news. Yeah, he was murdered. Everybody says his son did it. His son did it.
Really?
Why? Why? Do you know something?
No, I'm investigating it myself.
Oh, wow.
Why does everybody think his son did it?
Because when the police showed up, he was standing over the body with blood on his hands.
I must admit that is suspicious.
Although they never found the knife.
Well,
Of course, the son says, he doesn't really remember what happened, so who knows? I think he's faking. Those people, politicians.
Could be. Okay, well, thanks.
All right. Now we're going on to grapefruit. Ooh, grapefruit. Mmm.
Don't get any in your eye.
Oh, wow, this has a really strong grapefruit smell.
Well, grapefruit's first is and then even in sodas very strong.
Pungent.
Mm-hmm.
All right, head back to the table where everybody else is and tell them that I was completely unsuccessful at finding out anything about this stupid stuff. So apparently none of my magical compatriots have any idea what the hell I'm talking about.
But that alone tells you something. It tells you there's nobody out there trying to sell it, for example.
There's nobody out there looking for it.
Not as far as you know.
They don't even know
yeah.
what the bloody thing is.
Yeah. So whoever's got it is keeping it under wraps. That tells you something. So even finding out nothing tells you something. All right. So do you want to make any more plans before Leslie finishes playing?
I'm pretty much going to let Johnny take the lead on this one, I think.
Yeah. It's his,
Yeah.
his room.
It is his client.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Leslie finishes playing. Band wraps up. They're going to go down the block to a speakeasy and take opium and have a lot of sex, I guess. So, meanwhile, but Leslie has other plans, and they're like, "Oh, you work too hard," and they go off on their way. So,
Oh, I don't consider this one work.
well, you've got your serious face on, so they don't think you're out going to be having fun. So, but they
No.
know enough not to try to interfere now that you have your serious face on. So,
I'll see you later. Maybe tomorrow night.
alrighty.
All right. So, you know, I think I'm willing to let Leslie take the lead on this one.
Oh, God. Then this is going to definitely degenerate into bloodshed, screaming, chaos.
Well,
End up just generally worse off by the end.
Well, I personally like your idea of exposing him to the stone.
Once we
Yes.
yeah. Well,
See what we can get out of it.
the item in question is one of her people's treasures.
Let's just say it's the Winter Court's treasure.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if it's treasure. The stories about it are that old.
Well, why don't you let me do a little bit of reconnaissance on the building before we kick down the door and start busting people's heads?
That might be a good idea.
Yeah.
It's probably easier to deal with one person at a time. Because for one thing, I don't know how many people at a time this thing can affect.
Very good point.
Indeed.
All right, well,
But
let's,
We should.
I will point out as soon as we get our hands on it, it's got to go back to Ferry.
Yeah, we should pay attention to make sure we're not all hit by the area of effect.
Mm-hmm.
well, let's go to the place and stop outside, and I'll take a look around before we head inside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys drive out to Tolgrek-Sermer, which is you pass through like some. The entire peninsula is actually extremely hilly. I don't know if I've really described that before. Like Kemery-Sermer itself, like it's hilly like San Francisco is hilly. I mean, there's like some really steep streets, and but you drive out to Tolgrek-Sermer, and there's actually like a small range of like very large hills or small mountains around it. So you kind of like drive up and then down, and it's a huge valley. And you eventually get near the garage, which I'll show it to you, but then you can tell me how close you get before you actually start poking around doing stuff. So it's a place that looks like this. It's not in the middle of a field. There's buildings next to it, and there's buildings across the street from it. It is a built-up area, but it is a very, very old built-up area. So there are lots of gardens, and there's lots of trees, and there's lots of really old buildings. It's an antique-looking, old neighborhood kind of place.
The
All right.
building looks antique.
It is.
Basically, just have Johnny stop us, within a block of the building, and I'll do a cast a spell to take a look at the inside of the building. Remote
All
viewing.
right. Let's see. We're talking down the block. So that'd be 1 penalty die. And where did I put? I had a thing. All right. So I'll roll some dice, and you roll. We have 1 penalty die for the distance.
Okay.
But other than that, make you roll with the reason for thaumaturgy. And I will roll, and we'll see what we get. I get a 16.
The exact same thing I got, a 16.
Wow, that's success. You hit the number. Hit the target number, you win. Ding 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 ding. Woo! Yeah, you're looking essentially just looking around the building.
Mm-hmm.
It is a garage. There's some cars. There's a back room. There's next to and slightly there's like a building built into the side, like a shed, that is stairs that go up to an apartment on top of the garage.
Mm-hmm.
But you actually have to go down the stairs and outside, and then to go back into the garage. There's no direct access from one to the other. And let's see, is he here? Let's see if he's here. Could be here. Let's see. Low would be bad for him. So let me roll and see what I get. Oh, shit. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. As you are watching, you see him beating a guy in the head with a crowbar. Punk, punk, punk. And the guy, like, twitches and stops moving. What?
I feel no guilt about hurting this person.
The guy on the ground who's he's beaten with a crowbar? No.
Yes.
Some guy dressed in a casual suit.
Do you two guys want to catch him as he's in the act of running away?
Good idea.
And at this point, I feel no guilt about beating the crap out of him.
Okay, he's going to be coming down those stairs in, I'd say, about 30 seconds.
No, he's actually in the garage.
Oh, in the garage.
He's not in his apartment. He's in the garage.
In which case, I'll say he's going to be exiting the garage probably in about 30 seconds. And then I'll manifest myself as an image in the garage, like backlit and really dramatic, and point at him and say, "I've seen what you've done."
you have to roll again for that.
Kind of figured.
And again, you have a penalty die for the distance. So.
Right.
Oh, I rolled really well. You're not gonna. You'd have to roll really well.
Okay.
17.
Yeah, I only rolled like 12.
Okay, you try to manifest, but it's just too far to focus your magical construct at that distance.
Sorry.
That would have been awesome.
And also, there's the emotional, psychic turbulence of a guy who has been beaten nearly to death. He's not actually dead, but he's nearly beaten to death, and that's causing some kind of interference. It's just making your apparition not manifest.
Okay. Tell the group, nope, was unable to do that, so we'll have to do it the hard way. Get out of the car, and he's sort of like half a block away. This ought to be easy. All I want to do is blast down one of the garage doors
All right.
with like a concussive blast.
Oh, should I pull up with the car and hit the high brights?
If you feel that's dramatic, then by all means, go right ahead.
So are you walking or driving?
He's driving. I'll probably just step out of the car and throw the bolt because I want to do it now rather than in, say, 30 seconds from now after that guy takes it in the head about 10 more times.
When you get to about 30 feet or about 10 meters, that's when you don't have the penalty die anymore.
Oh, okay. Then I'll jump out of the car at that point then.
Okie dokie. Roll some dices.
I do better with less dice.
You were pretty much literally hitting the broadside of a barn door, so it's
Good,
not
12.
hard. Let's see.
Does Leslie want to be riding on the running board for this?
Sure.
The hood like a giant hood ornament.
Ah. Hey, if I take my true form, I make a very interesting hood ornament.
Okay, so what would the... How do we do that? Oh, sure. That's fine. So you blast the garage door off of its little rails on the side, and it kind of like goes inside and like flutters and hits the ground like when you flip a penny and it like does that, but on a larger, louder scale. And what's Johnny Diamond doing with the car? And Leslie? And Carol, what are you guys doing?
I pulled the nose up of the car up to where the door used to be, hit the brights, and announced, "I believe you have something that doesn't belong to you."
Yeah.
Well, Johnny Diamond, make a... What would that be?
Presents.
It would be presence-based, that is a fact. I'm looking for my list of skills.
I have both deception and manipulation.
This would be manipulation. For intimidation and interrogation type stuff is manipulation. I should actually add intimidation as an example. I will do that. I'll do it right now. Intimidation. Okay.
Okay, so 2d6. I only roll a 3, so a 9 total.
You rolled a 3 on 3d6?
No, on 2d6.
Oh, that's right. Why would you be...
I don't have an expertise or a gift for this.
All right.
I used to, but we changed character sheets.
I still gotta
Dude,
work mine out.
your stats are superhuman, so just let that go.
Yeah.
There's a reason you ran out of points. So, all right. Your total was what?
9.
Well, I rolled crap as well, so he got an 8. So you, in addition to, actually, you get another die, but it doesn't matter because he rolled shit anyway. But because of the door being blown off the rails, I should have given you a bonus die for that. But it doesn't matter because you win anyway. So he like holds up his hands like this. Oh, and in case you forget what he looks like, hang on. This guy. And he's wearing greenish gray dungarees, and he's not wearing a hat. So, and he's holding.
And he's holding a crowbar.
And he's holding a crowbar, which, as you announce, that you've got something that belongs to us, or something. He like holds up his hands, and he looks kind of panicked, and he drops the crowbar, and he holds up his hands. I gotta back up a little bit so you can see me. He's like he just looks like surprised, like he doesn't really know what's going on, which is quite possibly the case. So,
if he didn't know what was going on, I'd be very surprised.
Well, let's
There you
just
go.
manhandle him into a position where he's held and
So
walk him upstairs.
You guys get out of the car and rush him
Yeah.
and
Rush him, yeah. Well,
All right.
now that he's dropped the crowbar, because the crowbar might have been an issue. Just a slight issue. It's called iron.
see. Now, you did successfully intimidate him, so I'm going to say that and also there are, at that point, at least 3, possibly 4 of you surrounding him, and that's pretty intimidating. All right, so you basically just surround him and manhandle him, and he's like, what's this about? What's going on? Who are you people?
Your rock collection, among other things.
My what? I don't know what you're talking about.
Check the guy on the floor.
Yeah, Yeah, somebody should check the guy.
Oh,
on the floor.
there's no guy on the floor.
There isn't?
There is, if you look closely, because you know where to look. There's blood on the floor, but there's no guy.
Wow.
There's a nearby car with a very large trunk.
he's already.
Trail.
He already put. Okay.
Yeah, you open
Now,
up the
we said-
trunk.
Now
You open
this
up
is
the
the
trunk
guy
and
that,
there's a guy in there.
this
he's
is the
not
guy
dead.
that the doctor said had the brass box with the rock in it, right?
This is that guy, yeah. Not the guy in the trunk, but the guy who put the guy in the trunk.
Put the guy in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Apparently you have a brass box with a very interesting stone in it.
Look, I don't know what you people want. What's going
A
on?
brass box with a very interesting stone in it that doesn't belong to you. And the knowledge of and the names of people that you might be working for.
Let's see. I'm going to see if I can try to convince you that
I'm going to go ahead and snap a photo of the guy in the trunk just in case we need some leverage.
you get your camera, which is literally the size of a toaster,
Well, no,
and you put a bulb in, because that's how they work. You got to put a bulb in, and then ka-pop! And then you pop out the bad bulb.
Well, the more
how
show
cameras
he
work.
does, the more he realizes that this guy's in trouble. Well,
Brandon,
my
I have camera pocket size.
Ooh, you're like a spy.
Imagine that. I also have a pocket-sized tape recorder.
Wow, that's like full-on spy equipment. It's like normal people don't even have access to that. All right,
Yeah.
He tries and just fails. He just completely fails at lying to you. But he tries. He says he doesn't know what you're talking about. This is a garage. That guy just tried to rob him. He was putting him in the car to take to the police. And you don't believe him. I mean,
No.
you don't even have to roll. You don't believe him.
No, I think we're going to take a little walk up to your apartment and we're going to make sure you're telling the truth. And then when we find that you're not telling the truth, you're either going to tell us the truth or you're going to be hurting real bad.
You want to see my... Fine, let's go. I'll show you. Yeah, you can search my
Yeah.
apartment.
At
There's
this point, if he's not afraid of being his apartment being searched, I'm assuming he's probably sure that the item is not up there or well hidden, right?
He seems a bit relieved. I've rolled so badly for him so far. We're just going to say that this is just not his day. He seems relieved that you want to search his apartment and wants to lead you there. So let's go. Come on. Let's search it.
And then the garage will be next. Let's see what he does when I say that.
He gulps. So do you take him to his apartment, or what?
Oh well, if he gulps when we say the garage is next, let's make the garage first.
He makes
Because
a
we're
run
already
for
here.
it. Everybody make agility rolls, and if there's a skill that we'll call it combat, close range combat.
Would
Everybody make
martial
a close
arts
range.
count?
Hmm?
Would martial arts of some kind count? Because I think I have that. A martial art of some sort.
It's
Ooh, I rolled well.
you had expertise in. Okay, there used to be just combat, and then martial arts was a sub thing. Well, now it's different. There's close range combat and range combat. But we're going to say, since you had 2 points, one in combat, one in martial arts, we're going to say you've got close range combat and range combat. Okay? So just roll 2d6 for now. Oh, you had like 3 different expertises in thaumaturgy. So that'll free up at least 2 points. Okay. Hey, Leslie?
Yeah?
For now, just roll the number of dice I tell you. I'll fix your character sheet and email it to you. All right?
Okay,
So,
sounds good.
For now, we're going to say you've got expertise in close combat. So roll 3 dice plus your agility. And I will roll 2 dice plus my agility.
So when
and
you say my
everybody roll
agility,
your
I
dice
just add the
plus your
points of
agility.
my agility.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, your agility? Hang on. I'll tell you what your agility is.
My agility's 3. I
3.
do have a hard copy here.
Yeah, okay.
My total's
So-
17 then.
That's much better than his agility plus his 6. So everybody else can roll 2 if you want, but essentially Leslie just blew it out of the water. So he's trying to run away. You succeed at stopping him. Describe that to me. How do you succeed at stopping him?
Oh, I not just succeed at stopping him. I stop him as painfully as I can.
What, paint a
In
picture.
other words,
What's it look like?
something is either going to be broken or seriously fractured. Probably a leg.
Okay. So
If you
he goes to run.
Just until you hear the pop at his shoulder, that'll probably be really painful.
Oh yeah, that works too.
So he goes to run.
But he will be painfully stopped.
You stick out an expensive Italian shoe and trip him, and then put just enough pressure on his shoulder so that his other shoulder hits the concrete floor of the garage, and you hear a crunch and a pop, and he kind of rolls over and starts crying because his shoulder's dislocated.
And I'm going to look him in the eye and I'm going to say, Helene was my girlfriend.
Who?
Now where is the woman you tortured with the stone? Now where is it? And who were you working for?
It's not my fault.
I'll walk over there, Brandon, just as I'm walking by, lean over to the guy as he's laying on the floor and say, do you know what happened to the last person who lied to this man?
No.
Nobody else does either. And then keep going.
All right, fine. I'll show you. I'll show you. I'm fine. Fine. I never wanted to be involved in this at all to begin with.
Well, then you can uninvolve yourself by telling us who else was part of it and giving us the stone.
Fine. It was that Mio woman. Oh, we taking a break? That was abrupt.
Lloyd just ran it.
Well, if you gotta go, you gotta go. Hey, it's 9 o'clock. Let's take a 5-minute break. 9:07.
Okay.
See you again at quarter after. Okay? Quarter after.
All right.
Continue. Okay, and we are back. All right, so he's like, okay.
Give us a name. He was about ready to give us a name.
No, it was that Mio woman. It was all her fault. She pushed me into this. I didn't want to be involved in any of this. You have to understand.
Which Milio woman is that?
Blanchard. Her name's Blanchard.
Do we know any Blanchards?
Anybody who has underworld knowledge can make an investigation roll. See if you remember anything about a Blanchard.
I have investigation and some knowledge of the underworld, but...
Make a roll. 2d6, or whatever your...
10.
Reason plus investigation.
Yep, 10.
Investigation 10 plus my reason of 16.
Wow. Okay. Doc Celadon has heard the name Blanchard and knows it's a mid-level she's a mid-level gangster, and typically gangsters is like a man's thing.
Yeah.
It just is. It's a 60s. It's a man thing.
It's a guy thing.
It's a guy thing. But so the fact that there's a mid-level pied noir gangster who's a woman, that's kind of noteworthy. Also, she's apparently smoking hot. So there's that as well. You never met her, but you've heard the name. Johnny Diamond. Actually, you don't know she's pied noir. You just have heard the name and that she's a gangster and she's mid-level, very ambitious mid-level, and smoking hot. Johnny Diamond, with the better role, knows she's actually pied noir gangster. So there's that. That's what you get.
Okay.
But neither of you have ever met her. Why would you?
Now give us the rock, and you may actually walk out of here alive.
Okay. It's hidden. It's hidden because it's dangerous. So I've hidden it.
Yes.
It's downstairs. There's a basement to this building. It's downstairs in the basement. So I've lost Kieran and Donald.
No, I'm here. I just have to look something. I
Listen, everything got loud.
I'm sorry. What did you lose, Kieran?
My brain. I don't know. I'm trying to find something because my mom texted me. I thought I was, never mind. I just walked
I'm
away.
sorry.
Right over here. Sorry.
He leads all four of you, I guess, into the back room, and
yeah.
then from the back room, there's a door to a storage room, and he leads you into the storage room. At the back of the storage room, there's like a curtained off area with like a greasy tarp, and he pulls this. It's like a shower curtain type thing arrangement, but it's jury rigged. He's got like a shelf over there with a cord twine tied to it that goes over to another shelf over there with cord twine tied to it, and hung over that twine is a greasy tarp, and he kind of moves that aside, and there is what looks kind of like a bird cage hanging from a homemade pulley with like a chain going to a hoist, and it's all jury rigged. It's like if he didn't build it, someone did. It's extremely jury rigged looking. So there's like this bird cage kind of thing, and underneath the bird cage is a hole just a little bit larger than the bird cage. Like you could actually fit between the sides of the bird cage and sides of the hole and go down the hole without the bird cage if you wanted to. But it's dark down there, so you probably don't want to. Anyway, so he says it's down in the basement, and he opens up the bird cage, and he says, I've got to operate the winch, but just go in and I'll send you down. It's down there.
Just show. Why don't you show one of my friends here how it works, and you can go down with 3 of us.
You hurt me real bad. I really don't want to.
You might just get some help if you go down with us and let one of my friends operate the winch.
Or we could just throw you down the hole.
Yeah, we could do that too.
You guys seem pretty serious about that.
Oh yeah. Look, you show us where the rock is.
Oh wait, that's right. Sorry, I didn't put it away last time. It's over there. He points over his shelf.
Okay,
and
so
there's
down the hole. I want to see what's down there.
Oh no, there's one other thing I want to ask him first though. Is the brass box sitting on the shelf?
Well, there's a large object with a tarp over it.
Okay. My friend here would really like to push you down that hole, and I kind of agree. I'd like to push you down that hole too. But if you answer one more question, we might not want to do that. Do you know why the woman wanted to do this to Helene? Did she tell you at all?
I don't ask that kind of question. She just wanted it so that she wouldn't cause a problem anymore.
What kind of problem could she have caused?
You'd have to ask her. I don't know.
Okay. Does this sound like he's he's telling the truth this time?
It sounds like basically he doesn't know anything about that.
Oh, okay. Then I'll accept that. Is somebody going to check under the tarp so we can decide what we're going to do with this guy? Because if the box is under the tarp, I'm inclined to let him go at this point and go after the bitch.
Well, it's a magical object, so I'll check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You going to bed, sweetie?
Oh, look at the kitty. There's a kitty.
Kitty cat.
Hi, cat. Hello, Suzanne.
They all say goodnight.
Hi.
This is where you are. There's a kitty cat. All right. Sweet dreams in a bunch.
Penny did her usual shedding on me, and she's gone and done. She's behind me again.
You pull the tarp off, and it is a box about yay tall, like the size of a large shoebox, but stood on end. And it's got like holes carved into the brass. It's kind of vaguely Indian looking. East Indian. India Indian. It looks like that kind of a brass box with a clasp on it.
Okay. Undo the clasp and look inside.
There's a rock about yay big. One side of it is rough and unfinished, and the other side of it is like faceted, like it was part of something else. And there are some engravings into it, but off the top of your head, they don't look familiar.
Okay.
Sure they would to me.
Is it in fact a magical rock?
Oh, it is way magical. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then
way magical. You don't even need to roll. Yeah, you got mage sight. You can like look at it and go, oh, whoa, yep. That's like all kinds of magic.
Brandon,
one more thing. Leslie, hang on a second. I'll come back to you. Inside the brass box,
Yep.
The outside has that brass that has like little holes carved into it, which is very, Oriental looking. Inside, there are no holes. I mean, it is completely lined on the inside with lead sheathing inside the box.
Okay.
So there's no the holes don't actually don't go through the inside. Anyway, so Leslie, what's the deal?
I was going to ask you if you can remind me what glamour does. So I have that feeling it does something very interesting.
That got changed. It's
Is it?
now. It can be one of two things. It can either be domination, which you essentially Jedi mind trick somebody, or if you prefer, it can be fascinating, which gives you a bonus die on your presence rolls in cases where your fascinating presence might help you. So you can either do Jedi mind tricks or get a bonus die in your presence rolls. Up to you.
Jedi mind tricks.
Okay, so that'll be domination then.
Okay.
So
now, can domination make him forget some things if I choose?
well, let's see.
Because I'm inclined to let him go. We've got the box and we have a name.
No, you can't make
Okay.
somebody forget things, but what they're doing while they're dominated, they might not remember.
Okay.
They might have lost time. Depends on what they roll. You can't depend on that. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't.
Okay. Well, then we'll just use normal. He seems scared enough.
He's always very scared of you guys, yeah.
You did say you didn't want any involvement in this. We're going to take our rock, and we're going to take that name you gave us, and we'll leave you alone. But if you say one word, no one's going to know where you went to. Okay?
Mum's a word.
Okay.
I never seen
Now-
any of you people before.
Okay. Now, here's the second question. I had healing listed.
Did you? Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you do.
Has that changed?
Let's see.
And is it just for me, or can I do it on somebody else?
Well, the way you had it written up, let's see. Let's see if
I only have the basics on my form.
I pretty well lost that at some point. But yeah, you can do
Regeneration.
healing. Sure.
Okay.
Regeneration.
I'll say-
Well, no,
I'll
she had
say-
both.
Oh,
She had both. She had regenerating for herself, and she could heal other people.
Yeah.
But at some point
Okay.
when I did a rewrite, I apparently got rid of healing. So, but it's not a big deal. I can add it back in.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll gently touch him on the shoulder and say, since you did help us, I'm feeling generous today. And
Oh, there,
I'll
it's
do a
under
healing.
magic.
But like I said, nothing. And I would try to turn over a new leaf if I were you.
Yeah, essentially, the way I'm going to make your healing power work
Yeah.
is it's essentially regeneration usable on somebody else. So,
Okay.
you can make him recover half of his lost endurance in
Yep,
about a
that's what
minute,
I'll do.
as
Yeah, that's
opposed to like half hour. So, like the shoulder pops back in and he
Yeah.
heals and the scratches and scrapes
And then
all
I'll
heal
say
up.
to him, I would consider turning over a new leaf. Running a garage sounds like a great plan.
But maybe somewhere else.
Yeah, maybe somewhere else. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, very good idea. Excellent. Okay, I guess we take the box and leave.
Yeah, Brandon,
Like
as
you
we're
guys-
leaving, I'll walk up to the guy, like snap my fingers in front of his eyes a couple of times,
Hmm.
cast a spell on him, and say, "You'll forget you saw us, and you will go out and get drunk."
Okay.
Good.
You
somebody can
roll
do
some
it.
dice, and
I
I'll roll
was
some
hoping
dice,
somebody could do
and
that.
you're rolling against his presence.
But just
which
make sure
is-
he remembers he's going someplace else and turning over a new leaf.
15, Brandon.
It is not possible for him to roll higher than that. So He rolled an 11. Yeah, his eyes like fog over, and he says, "I'm gonna go get a drink," and he like staggers out.
Do that.
You have, now that he's gone, you have all kinds of time if you want to search the place.
Sure,
Yes.
why not?
I want to see what's in the basement.
Also, there is that guy in the trunk.
Oh,
Somebody
did you guys slap a heel on him too?
Yeah, I'll slap a heel on him too.
Yeah, he's in bad shape. Do you have medicine?
I don't, but I can slap a heel on him.
I don't.
All right. Let's give some healing a shot.
Yeah.
Make a 2d6 plus your brawn.
Me?
Sure. Yeah. Let's see how much healing you can throw on him. And I'll roll that against how much damage he's taken. How many?
12 points.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. Awesome. Yeah, his skull's cracked open and his brain's peeking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in bad and he's lost tons of blood. So,
We probably still should get him to a hospital, even with the healing.
but yeah, you heal him and like his injuries kind of go back in time and the swelling goes down and his skull closes up and the skin closes up and the hair like goes back to how it's supposed to be. So, he looks okay, but he's still unconscious. But his breathing is much better and he's not bleeding and
No, we should get him out of here and possibly get him to a hospital. Eventually.
at the very least, he's out of danger of like imminently dying, and you've probably he might have lost some memories of the past half hour or so.
That would be
But-
a good thing.
Probably would have lost those memories anyways.
I don't think he's going to miss them.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna miss him. But yeah, he'll be okay.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
What's in the basement, man?
There's an elevator that looks basically like a homemade birdcage out of like angle iron and diamond
I'm not
plate.
getting in that.
And there's a chain that goes up to a hoist, and it is immediately obvious to anybody examining this, even if you don't have any mechanical knowledge or experience. It is immediately obvious that you cannot operate the elevator from inside the elevator.
All right. I'll stay behind and.
He mentioned iron. I'm staying behind too.
I'm not going down there. I just wanted to poke my flashlight down into the hole and look.
It goes a good 10, 15 meters down. It's deep.
Impressive.
Hey, but make a perception roll. Let's see what we get. You might see something.
What's perception based on?
Reason.
Oh, reason. 11.
It's just darkness. You don't see anything down there. So no one wants to actually go down
Well,
down the hole.
Okay, fine.
Brandon?
I'll bell the cat. I'll step-
Brandon, ferry, iron issues. Ferry, iron issues. No, I'm not even
Okay,
going in near the
fine.
elevator.
Fair enough.
Somebody turn that crank over there, will you? I'll step onto the thing. Curious. Oh, there's what's down there.
The door to the birdcage actually has a latch on it that closes from the outside and looks like it's fairly secure, but you don't actually have to close the latch to get into the birdcage, so it's not a big deal. Okay,
I'll go ahead
so
and do it anyway.
Daxeldon gets in the elevator and somebody operates the winch and as it goes down about 10, 12 meters or so and then opens up into darkness all around you.
Be God.
And you shine your flashlight around, and
Actually,
at first,
I'll shine the flashlight around a little bit, and then I'll realize it's a little inadequate to the task, so I'll turn it off and cast a light.
okay, it's a minor use of magic. You don't have to roll for it. You just wah. Okay, at first it looks like you are just in a cavern, like a natural cavern,
Right.
alone, And then you realize that there are creatures in the cavern, and moments after you cast light, the creatures like and they scurry away into small tunnels.
What do the creatures look like?
They've got long, pointy teeth, and they're kind of hunched over, and they've got gray, green. They look like a golem, like a whole bunch of golem, except long, pointy, snaggly teeth.
Oh, this is where he dumps the bodies, I guess.
And then they run away, away
So
from the light.
Somebody turn the crank the other way now.
Yeah.
Get me out of here, please. Quickly.
Oh, and around you on the floor of the cavern are bones.
Bones.
Of course.
Yeah. Say, okay, you bring back up the birdcage. Yeah, that was fun.
I am interested in searching
Pull my
his
flask.
rooms.
Drink. Back.
I am now interested in searching his rooms.
Fast forwarding quickly. I'll give you a couple of things you find when searching, because there's no one to stop you and you've got no time limit, so I'll just tell you what you'll find in the next hour or two. There's a still in the garage, also covered with a greasy tarp. It appears to be a perfectly normal still that one makes hooch with.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some mason jars.
Where the hooch goes.
Where the hooch goes, some of which have hooch in them, and some of which are empty. And the ones that have hooch in them have little dates written on them, apparently of the day the hooch was made. You know, you'll sell no hooch before it's time. In his room upstairs, you find the sort of things a lonely, lonesome, kind of creepy guy would have in his room. There's like French girly magazines, because you're in France.
A box full of porno mags.
Yeah, but it's the 60s, so it's all pretty tame porno. It's nothing really weird. It's stag films kind of stuff. You also, actually, you should roll once. There's one thing you can find that is hard to find because he hid it. So make some investigation rolls for searching.
Rolled crap and rolled 9.
And you'll be rolling against his reason, plus I'll give him a bonus die because he had lots of time. Ooh, he rolled really well too.
Skills. Investigation. I get 3 die.
You're a trained investigator.
I am a trained investigator.
Roll
That
higher.
is not my forte.
So 6 plus 11 is 17.
Oh, wow. All right. He rolled really well, but you rolled better than he did. So you find in a heating duct vent.
And you don't think this place ever actually deserved heat, let alone a heating duct. Sorry, Brandon, continue.
It's actually a duct from the garage. It's an air duct from the garage, from the boiler that heats the garage. So there's that. Anyway, in the heating duct vent, there's a canvas bag full of small wrapped round bundles of bills. A rough estimate would put it somewhere around 3,000 francs, which is a hell of a lot of money. You can buy a new car, the equivalent of a Civic, like an entry-level new car, for about 500 francs. So you've got about 6 of those worth of francs in bundles of money wrapped up.
I suppose he'll be annoyed when he finds it missing.
What, you're going to take it? That's dishonest.
If he doesn't, I'm going to.
It's sad.
I put it down and walk away. But because I can't do that. But I don't
I can.
exactly.
I'll split it with you, man.
But,
Hey, I can.
but oops.
But
Oh,
three ways
I'm
is
gonna
fine.
put this down, Flonk.
What you don't find is a ledger of, people I've tortured and on what day and why. You don't find anything like that.
No,
So.
no. I normally
He's a common thief.
torture.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay, then.
Grab the money, grab the rock, get the hell out.
Does anybody have an objection if I return this to the Fae?
No, please do.
Okay.
Oh, it's all yours. Get it off this plane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You do no good for
I'm
you.
anywhere else I can.
Okay, so you give the brass box to Leslie. You take the guy from the trunk and drop him off at a local hospital.
Yes.
And then what? By this time, it's like 2 a.m.
I need to go to bed.
Yeah. I think we go home at that point.
Okay, you go your separate ways. Leslie,
Well,
I guess you make contact
I'm
with
going.
your people.
I'm going to the oak. I'm going to go to the oak court. I'm not going to give it to the winter court, but I'll give it to my court.
You pass it up the chain.
Yep. Let them decide what to do with it.
Let's see. We won't go into a lot of detail on that, but let me just see what their reaction is. Oh, loose strife.
Mhm.
You call the oak court, and loose strife responds. Where's my? Oh, duh. I'm looking from a web browser. It's right in front of me. I'm an idiot. Okay. That's chapter 2. Loose strife is in chapter 1. Okay. You try to make contact with the Oak Court, and Loose Strife shows up, who's the knight of the Summer Court. The Knight of Summer is kind of her title. Knight of the Summer Court. Anyway, she shows up. She doesn't like you,
I know that. I don't care.
but she says, by what right do you command the attention of the Summer Court?
I
Make it
think
quick.
I've just found a little piece of ancient history. And I explain to her what happened and about the fact that what's in this box is a piece of something from the Winter Court. The mortals call it the Nightmare Stone.
I was going to roll to see what she knew about that. You like reason from memory. Click, roll.
I can deal with. Oh,
She's like, well, I don't know what this is, but it's clearly Winter Court. Huh. Okay. No, you did the right
Giving
thing.
it into your hands.
No, she seems a little bit taken aback and feels a little bit bad about being shitty to you just a minute ago. So she's like, yeah, no, you did the right thing. Thank you. This is appropriate. She closes it up and takes it and bows and
I'll bow back.
leaves. So, yay.
One
Alright.
less dangerous thing on earth.
Nah, it's way more dangerous stuff than that.
Oh, I'm
Okay,
sure.
so night falls, everybody goes to bed, you go to work, you do your things. When do you do anything else? What's your next step?
I'm going to do some more research and see if I can figure out what Gaspard Clark was working on before he was murdered and what the deal is with his murder.
Do you have like underworld contacts? Because it's kind of a gangster thing. It's not really a magic thing.
Mostly just investigation.
All right, let's roll some investigation. Just see if I can throw you a clue.
And if I have to, I can use my underworld contact in the form of Johnny Diamond too.
Oh, wait, I've got team player. Can I loan him my connected gift?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Add a die.
Oh, okay.
Just add a die to your investigation.
15.
Johnny calls in some favors. Oh wow, you rolled great.
Yes, I
And
did.
you were only rolling against a total of 8, so you rolled fantastic. Word on the street is that. Let me find this guy's name. Jean-Jacques Vercher, who is a boss, a local Mio boss of the Pied Noir. there is a word on the street that he was getting something from that military research council over at
Gaspard Clark's council.
Yeah, and that something went wrong. That they were supposed to steal it because it was being made easy to steal. It was being transferred to a non-secured location. Something was. The something is up in the air, but the what do you call it when there's not like physical evidence, but circumstantial. Okay. The circumstances sound too similar to ignore. You don't know that it's the same thing, but it's the same agency, and there was something supposed to be transferred, and the Pied Noir were going to steal it, and apparently did steal it, but something went wrong, and the guys who were stealing it all got killed, and the thing they were stealing turned up missing. So, there's that. Now, as far as Gaspard Clark being murdered, you can't find any link to that. It may just be a coincidence.
Okay.
But the Pied Noir are really, really annoyed that their rightfully stolen property was stolen. So there's kind of a, like, no one actually says what they're looking for, but whatever it was, you better bring it back. So
there will be consequences.
There will be consequences. Anyway, so you've got a bunch of people on the street looking for something that they don't know what it is they're looking for.
Okay, fair enough.
Meanwhile,
ironically, I actually do know kind of what it is.
Carol and Johnny, and what are you doing?
Well, I don't have anything to do yet, so go through work, and because no one's asked, because I don't think I've had to look anything up. Although if I could also push the police to go,
investigate the garage.
Yeah, to go investigate the garage.
Well, you can totally do that. All right. You drop a word in a bird's ear, which talks to somebody else, and long story short, there is a raid on the garage for suspicion of black market hex. And while they don't actually find black market hex, what they do find is a tunnel from the garage to a cavern beneath that is infested with ghouls. So that was interesting. Now, the guy who owned the garage is apparently in the wind. He is gone. Poof. He's left. Thierry Lhermitte was the owner of record, and according to witnesses, he was there the day before. But when they showed up, he left, and no one had seen him since the day before. So there's that. But they wound up taking flamethrowers to all the ghouls, and they're pretty sure they exterminated them all. And then they dynamited the cavern, so the garage just kind of collapsed in. So now there's like a gravelly sort of indentation in the ground where the garage used to be.
Somebody nuked the garage?
The police.
Oh, okay.
There was a ghoul infestation in the caverns below.
Oh, there were ghouls.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what I figured.
So the police flamethrowered all the ghouls they could catch, and then dynamited the cavern. So now there is a kind of a shallow depression where the garage was once a garage.
Yeah.
And no connections to us. Better and better.
Mm-hmm.
No, Carol put in a word to somebody who put in a word to somebody who put in a word to somebody, and then the police went to investigate, and that's what they found. They didn't find any actual black market magic on the site, but finding ghouls, that's legitimate. That's a good tip.
Well done.
No one's going to complain.
And no one knows where Thierry Lhermitte is. He is in the wind. He's poof gone.
And if
Hopefully starting a legitimate garage somewhere else.
Or somebody decided to deal with him. Yeah.
Hard to say. So now what are you gonna do?
Ask him where the stone was.
All right. So yes, I will pass that on when I see people.
All right, that evening, work day goes by. Everybody does their work things, or sleeps, or both.
Well, I'm doing some sleeping, but I'm also going to pay a visit to Marguerite and give her a slight piece of my mind and ask her if I can see Helene.
Absolutely not.
Why not? I care about her too. Yes.
She just gives you a look like, are you
Can I
mad?
at least see her, please?
No. No, you can't.
Like I thought, you're a bitch. And I walk away.
If you come here again, I will call the police, she says. She closes the door. Clunk. She doesn't like you.
Don't like her much either.
Okay. And now what are we doing? What's everybody up to? Do you feel like you solved the mystery, or are there loose threads you want to follow up on?
Well, he did say somebody was involved. He made
Mid-level, smoking hot female thug, Blanchard.
Yes.
Blanchard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait.
A Pied Noir gangster.
Yeah, would I be able to find anything useful on her?
You can look it up. Make an investigation roll. Roll some dice. Dices. Again, this is just everyday criminals, probably. So not really something that your agency is focused on, but you do have access to the records.
Yeah, 13.
You needed an 11. So yeah, you get a record on a... Hang on. Oh, you actually 13. You can get a picture.
Oh.
Sure, why not? I'll give you a picture. Bernadette Blanchard is her name.
How alliterative.
So here's the thing. She's apparently been a Pied Noir gangster for like 20 years.
She doesn't look like she's been alive long enough to be a Noir gangster for 20 years.
No, that's not noted in her file, but it's apparent to Carol looking at the file that maybe it's a really old picture. So yeah, that is actually the reasonable conclusion to come to, is that she's actually been on record as a Pied Noir associate, which means they know she's a criminal. They just haven't proved it yet. Going back around 18 years, and like from the time that Pied Noir came from Algeria to France, it's like she was that first wave. So she's been, in the milieu since then, at least. And the fact that the picture you guys have of her is as a young woman, it means she probably looks like way different now.
If she doesn't, we'll be really, really suspicious.
So there you go. Okay, so Carol finds that out at work.
Yes.
And then you meet with everybody later?
Yes. Right.
Okay. Everybody meets up at the nightclub with Johnny and so forth. Now what?
Find out from Johnny what he's found out, because I assume he's going to spend the day looking into various criminal connections.
What's the story, Johnny? What are you looking up?
Well, I was going to go ahead and make sure that all this cash wasn't traceable.
You call a couple of people and talk about laundering it this way and that.
Well, I mean, I run a nightclub. It can't be hard to launder money.
basically. Yeah,
There's plenty of cash.
it goes into the fund of money to be laundered, which goes in that safe, and then the money that's been laundered goes in this safe. So it's just a matter of it going through the process.
Yeah.
At the end of the night, you go over the receipts and how much people bought, and that gets padded by about 20%, and that's kind of how that works. And eventually, it's all clean.
Okay.
It's how you're able to give such good rates on everything.
And I will call up Marguerite and see if she has time to meet with me.
Certainly. Do you want me to come there?
If you're in the area.
I will make time to be in the area. I want to know what happened. What's a good time for you?
I shall be here all day at your convenience.
Well, I have business during the day, so let us say 7 o'clock?
7 would be fine.
Okay. I will see you at 7.
Ha.
So, at 7.
She shows up. I will have Arlene lead her back to my office.
Who else does Johnny invite to this meeting?
If anybody comes in, I'll mention that it's happening, but other than that,
We'll say for
My
sake of
comment-
argument, everybody shows up before Marguerite does. So
yeah.
And I'm probably going to tell Johnny, if you're going to talk to that tin-plated bitch, you probably don't want me there. She may not talk to you. The band's got a gig tonight. We'll serenade her.
Fair enough.
all right.
You want us there? I can go either way. It's up to you.
I'm simply going to inform her that the individual and device that did that to her sister are no longer a threat. And maybe give her something to look at. Something to look at for herself as far as Michelle goes.
Well, if it helps, the garage is now a pit of gravel, a second pit of gravel. They found I put in the tip, and the police went out and discovered that whatever Lloyd's character saw down below, Dr.
Celadon.
Sorry, brain. We're was a cave full of ghouls. So they go them up, blew it up.
If you also want to ask her what she would give to have her sister back, she can pay the favor to the fairy, maybe.
Do you think you could manage that?
Yeah.
In that case, I will ask.
Hmm.
Interesting.
I simply didn't think it would be that easy.
It probably won't be easy, and she'll probably owe the fairy big time. And
Like-
tell her it isn't money.
Right. She didn't like the idea of owing me a favor. I doubt that she will enjoy owing you one, but I will offer it.
Okay, so at 7, when Marguerite shows up, who is waiting for her?
I'm on stage.
I'll stay outside. It's not my business.
Okay.
He can always show me afterward.
I'll stay outside with Karen. If Johnny
Okay.
will just-
Okay. I will take.
So Marguerite comes in, Arlene sends her back, or actually she doesn't send her back, she shows her back, and takes her back to the office, knocks on the door, says, there's Miss Dagon here to see you, Mr. Diamond.
Yes, please. Let her
Shows her in.
Thank you.
And she looks around with like mild distaste at your office and sits down. And she's like, what information do you have for me?
I have discovered the man who did that to your sister. I have
She
discovered
tenses,
the
her fists
device
clench.
you used, and I discovered where it happened. You're lucky that your sister was not fed to the ghouls.
I'm sorry, what?
A cavern of ghouls was beneath your sister's feet when she was tormented. Be glad she was not fed to them.
Ghouls? Like people who eat flesh?
That's what the reports say.
So it was a ghoul that did this to her?
Oh no,
Why?
it was the person living atop the ghoul cavern who did this. He is no longer of concern, and the item that he used to do it is no longer in human hands.
What do you mean, no longer a concern?
Even I can't find him anymore. His home is a crater in the earth.
You were supposed to find him and tell me where he is.
Well,
He's not the
others had previous claim to him. However, I can tell you who it was that took your sister to him.
Okay,
That
who?
is Michelle Blanchard.
Say it again.
That is Michelle. Michelle Blanchard.
Bernadette Blanchard, is that the name you give him?
That's the guy, the bookie.
She's
Oh,
talking
Michelle Galabru is
Galabru.
the casino owner, the
Yeah.
Parain casino owner.
Now, how much do you know about the underworld?
I don't care about any of this. I just want to know who did this to my sister, and why. I'd like to know why, but mainly who.
Well, I am trying, I do not know why. I am trying to figure out why, among other things, a member of one of the great Marin families used a lackey of another of the families for this task.
I know nothing about this. Why are you asking me about it?
Because before you step into this world, you must be very, very careful that this is exactly what you want.
I want to know who did this to my sister. When you have that information, come back to me. She stands up. And she walks out. She storms out. And
so you don't want to hear about the offer to cure her?
she turns back to you. She says, I've contacted the church. They will take care of it.
Very well. Those who originally crafted the idol were willing to help for a favor.
Who? What do you mean?
You know that I have friends beyond the norm.
I know that you have unsavory friends, but I was also told that you were trustworthy and diligent, and you would carry out what you've been asked to do, and you could not be bribed. That is what I was told. That's why I contacted you. That is what Sabine told me.
Your information is a bit light. I have done some tasks in the past that aided the fairy court.
She makes like the sign against the evil eye. She's like, that is your business. I wish no part of it.
You don't wish them to help your sister.
I don't wish to pay the cost of fairy favor costs. The church will help my sister. You just find out who did this. Are you still willing to do that? You said that you would do that.
I did, and then the fellow got himself turned into a crater.
So do you consider the matter closed?
Give her
Well,
Blanchard's
I
name.
instructed him to do it, yes. I believe it is your father's favorite man to owe money to.
Galabru?
It was him who fed her the drink.
Are you certain of this? You must be certain.
Absolutely.
Things are so uncertain when dealing with the widow.
If it requires more money, I will pay you more money.
Oh, I haven't asked for money yet.
Why would you not?
It requires is danger, and it might be you in danger. What would you do if what happened to your sister is part of the internecine war between the Perinois and the Piran?
Gangsters? I don't care about any of that.
All over the
Whoever did this to her must pay.
In that case, I will keep looking, but I thought you would like to know that none others will be tormented as she was.
Well, that is good to know. Thank you.
Well,
Right.
then, do stay for dinner.
No, I have business. I always have business. Thank you for your time, and thank you for continuing to look into this matter. And I suppose I should thank your fairy acquaintances as well. But the church will take care of her. They have people who can deal with this sort of thing, and we are on
That's
good
right,
terms
she's a religious fanatic.
with them.
I wish
We've donated quite a lot over the years. So my father was quite devout before
I
his.
wish you the best of luck, and I do hope your sister recovers fully.
Thank you. I hope so too. Good night, Mr. Diamond. And she leaves. And she leaves through the restaurant, and she doesn't storm out, but she seems pensive. Like she's heard news, and it hasn't been altogether good news, but not altogether bad news either. Just food for thought. Anyway, she leaves.
Okay.
Orange.
How's the grapefruit?
Grapefruity. It had a stronger smell than it had a taste. Taste was not as subtle as the other flavors. Not as subtle as the orange.
Grapefruit never is very subtle.
But not bad. Not bad. I think I liked it better than the orange and the lemon.
It's why grapefruit is why a lot of people don't like Fresca.
Is that right?
I've been
Oh, sorry. Cough right in your ear.
like flavored seltzer water, and I find it interesting that they're not really flavored; they're just kind of scented. They all taste pretty much the same, but they just have a different smell to them.
Are you talking about this or Fresca?
No, I'm talking about seltzer.
Seltzer water.
Oh.
Oh, Fresca tastes very much like grapefruit.
Okay, so Marguerite Degon has come and gone. What are you guys trying to do now? Do you consider this matter closed, or what's your deal?
I guess we need to find out who gave what's his name the orders, and what we can gather from what he said, it was Blanchard, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Johnny, with his contacts, can actually find out how and where to contact her if that's something you want.
I would like to know why she considered the woman a threat.
Yeah, there's a plot going on here. We just don't know the details of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Blanchard. We've got the guy that she was seeing that she didn't like. Which one of those is higher on the totem pole than the other?
Michel Galabru is a casino owner, but not top-level boss. From what you have found through your various sources of information, Carol and Johnny and Dr. Celadon, you've all found through various ways that Blanchard is also not top-level, but like mid-level. Like lots of seniority, but not top-level, probably because she's a woman.
Right.
So there's that. So neither of them are like top level, so they're probably on par. If you had to say, probably Blanchard is higher in the Pied Noir than Galabru is as high in the Prain, just because Blanchard has been doing it for a long time and has like a tremendous amount of respect. Like at her level, she's like the highest among equals. And Galabru owns a casino, but outside his casino, he basically doesn't have any influence at all. He has a casino. He's like Johnny in that sense, except he has a boss, a mob boss to answer to. Whereas Blanchard has people under her. Carol found out the thing about Blanchard being Pied Noir and being like first wave Pied Noir when Algeria went back to Algerians and all the French Algerians came back to France.
Yeah.
Which was some number of years ago.
All right, so what do you think? Who do we step on next? One of those will be dangerous. Just because they're going to hold grudges.
I have that feeling that Marguerite is going to step on Michelle, but we'll see. If not...
Well, which one do you think would be easier to get information out of?
Well...
Technically, I suppose I could get information out of either of them, depending upon how well they're magically protected, but...
Yeah.
Well, Johnny, I feel that this is going to probably reflect on you more than anyone else. What do you think?
Wake up, Donald.
Yes, I do. I do think discretion is in order. It would not be useful if the Merlot decided to come down upon my clock.
No.
But perhaps we should give Blanchard's name to Marguerite and see what kind of pressure she could apply.
It depends on how much power she has in relation to gangsters.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's a real estate mogul at this point.
Yes, none at all. She's completely outside their world.
Yeah, I can't see there being any kind of pull here. Unless I'm just completely reading this wrong. Apparently the rest of her family is heavily involved with organized crime, so maybe she is too.
Just because she said she didn't know anything about it or care doesn't mean she's telling the truth.
Well, the business is clean, if nothing else.
Well, it's up to you. I mean, I would guess that if you gave her Blanchard's name, she could end up in above her head.
Yes, she could, couldn't she?
Is that what you want?
Well, I do care enough about her sister that I wouldn't want anything to happen to her sister. And if something happens to her, something might happen to her sister. I'd rather she not get in above her head, even if she is a tin-plated bitch.
Yes, by the way, the church has taken over caring for Helene.
Well, maybe they may be able to do it. One can only hope. I've forgotten her family's very, very, very religious.
Yeah, she made the most extraordinary series of genuflections when I mentioned the Fae.
Most people do, if they're smart. But I get that feeling she suspects things about me, which is why she doesn't like me.
Well, it could also have something to do with, your career choices. But
That's true, too.
You're a musician. That's reason enough.
Yeah.
She probably just dislikes you because you're a common enough lowlife as opposed to being an uncommon lowlife.
But she doesn't seem to realize that I'm probably richer than she is.
So do you think I should simply send her Blanchard's name and call the matter closed?
Well, the part of me that delights in causing chaos and confusion seems to find that a extremely attractive proposition just because it involves the least amount of effort on my part and the greatest amount of potential chaos on somebody else's part. But to be perfectly honest, at this point, part of me that's kind of analytically intrigued wants to know what the hell is going on, because you've got two mid-level, well, one's an enforcer and the other one's a casino owner, but members of two completely different Wheelio families who appear to be cooperating in just destroying some young socialite's life. And I find that just very odd.
See,
Is that where your father is at this point?
That's where I'm at on this. Marguerite didn't seem to care.
Who doesn't care?
Marguerite.
Didn't seem to care about what?
That it was two different crime families and...
No, you were talking Greek to her at that point. She neither knows nor cares about crime families.
Yeah.
All she really wants to know is who did this to her sister. So that she can hang them up by their toenails and cut pieces off them until they die. So,
Out of curiosity, has anybody mentioned what happened to their father?
he's apparently a wastrel. He gambles, cavorts with prostitutes, gets into debt, gets way too drunk for long periods of time,
and owns these gangster families a lot. At least one of these gangster families a lot of money.
Johnny, can you find this guy? I'm curious I'd like to ask him a couple of questions.
I would like, yeah, he might be the next step.
He actually lives at the Dagon Manor along with Marguerite. He lives there. He's frequently not there, but that's where he lives.
Well, is it that would you be able to find him? Like in his source, figure out where he ends up hanging out.
He's probably Michel Galabru's casino.
Yeah.
Which is called the Allegria, which means joy, but which is also very similar to the name Algeria, which is probably kind of a poke in the eye at the Pied Noir. It's kind of like a word play kind of a thing.
I'm in stitches.
Well, talking to him
I
might
thought
be
it was
our
funny.
next logical step. He might have some insights as to why they would hurt his daughter.
So,
But if not, Michel Galabru might. He would also probably be there because this is casino.
Can anyone think of a plan to get old Edouard to come out of the casino on cue?
Yeah, we don't even have to lie. We just need to send a messenger in there to tell him that his daughter is catatonic and he might want to go look at her.
He knows that already, I'm sure.
By this time, she's been this way for a month, so I'm sure he knows by now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think...
In which case, we do lie, and we tell her that she's broken out of her catatonia and she's asking questions. Or talking. We don't even have to say what she's talking about.
Or we don't have to lie. It just could be like, this is about your older daughter. Yeah, just send them a message, this is about your daughter.
Well, see, I was kind of hoping that after a long night of drinking and gambling, he would stumble out and we could pull up instead of his car. And then he climbs into our car and we can have a nice little talk.
That seems completely plausible.
We would have to have somebody in the casino with a radio or whatever the community. You said this is 1960s, Brendan?
1964, actually.
There are walkie-talkie type things that you can communicate.
There are.
with?
They're the size of a loaf of bread.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're a spy, like Johnny Diamond, and then you have one that's about the size of an actual normal camera, like a normal modern-day camera.
Or a normal walkie-talkie.
Or wrist radio.
Yeah. Well, if he can come up with two of them, somebody can go into the casino and gamble and watch Mr. Dagon and let everybody know when he's coming out.
So what's the plan? Give me a plan. You've been planning for like 15 minutes, so do something.
How about this? I go into the casino and take a look around. I'll fit in. And
all right.
See what I can find while I'm hanging around in there.
Let's see. What would be... no, that's not it. That's not it. Here we go. diplomacy. Yeah. All right. Doc Celadon.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what to call this. Do you gamble, or you just hang out and buy drinks and
Oh no,
socialize?
I'll do some gambling. It's not my money after all.
Let's call this diplomacy. Carousing comes under diplomacy, and gambling, I guess, comes under carousing. So, just
All right.
for the fun of it, roll a couple of dice. I just want to see how well you do. Whether you attract attention.
13.
It's middle of the road. I'm not going to roll against you. All right. You win some, you lose some.
I was going to say,
pretty
if I
much.
start winning money, I'll make sure I start losing money.
You do see Edouard Degan in there.
Okay.
He is. He's losing too, which is why he looks like this. If he were winning, he would be happier. He's wearing expensive suits, but they're looking a little frayed at the ends of the cuffs, you know? So he's kind of fallen on some hard times. His daughter cut him off. So he's gambling, he's drinking, he's got a young woman on his arm who's clearly not there because of his personality. So, and as evening winds on, he, if you wait long enough, he'll leave. It'll be time for him to go home.
Okay.
And since we've already established he's losing, his companion seems to have found something else to do with her time, and he wanders out alone.
Okay. Does this guy look like he's had a few?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
More than a few.
I'll get ahead of him as he's leaving. As he walks outside, I'll say, "Sir, your ride is this way,"
Oh, thank you very much.
and I'll lead him right over to Johnny Diamond's spot.
It is all too easy. He gets into the car.
Let him inside. Step in and tell Johnny, "Well, here he is."
Looks around at you. He's like, "Oh, are we sharing a car? That's nice of you."
The drive.
He gives directions in slurred upper class French. Yeah, just go down this way and then turn left at the so and so and then turn right.
We're just going to drive around the park.
Okay, you got him. What do you do with him?
All right. Have you got interrogation then?
Well,
Manipulation.
yeah,
I've got manipulation.
so do I.
Okay. As long as one of you do, I'll drive. Since I don't.
Okay.
I even have expertise in it.
Well, then you go ahead.
And I'm a girl.
Her rubber hose is much more impressive than
Oh, young woman. Good evening.
Let's see. So 6 plus 18.
Zowie. You doubled his roll. So, yeah, he's more than happy to chat you up on any topic you want. What do you want to talk about?
You wanted to talk about his daughter, right?
Yeah.
He loves his daughters dearly. They're the apples of his eye. That's why he gave his business to both of them when he decided it was time to sow some wild oats.
And what is it also your plan to give your eldest to the milieu?
What?
If you
What are you
get it
talking about?
yourself?
No, they're wonderful girls. They have nothing to do with this. I mean, sure, Helene is a little bit wild. I think she gets that from me. But oh no, Marguerite, I'm sure will keep her under wraps, keep her safe.
Oh?
I mean, it's
When's the last time you saw her?
Why did Lhermitte? Why did Lhermitte expose her that? Cause her catatonia?
What? What are you talking about?
He doesn't
No,
know.
of course, I don't know anything about the poor girl. I think it must be a brain illness. She has a brain illness of some kind. I
Yeah.
told Marguerite she should call a doctor.
Caused by an enforcer of the Pinot Noir. After
No,
spending
that's
quite a bit
nonsense.
of time
Where'd you hear that?
From Helene herself. She's talking. Well, of sorts.
What? She's talking? He leans forward toward Dr. Saladon. Driver!
Yes.
You must hurry home. My Helene is talking.
Oh, okay.
He's
Very
too
good.
drunk to know that it's of sorts.
Yes.
He needs to sober up.
You wish to come clean on here.
Come clean about what?
Okay, I think he needs to be a little more sober. Does the healing help with that?
Sure, why not?
Okay, we're gonna make him a little more sober.
He gets a little more sober. But no, Helene and Marguerite have nothing to do with any of this unsavory business.
Then why would he? Why would she be dating
Michelle.
Michelle?
Monsieur Galabru?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I heard something about that. But she's an adult. She can carry on with her own life, and she could do worse. He's a successful businessman.
So do you think the Pinot Noir sent their enforcer after her to get at him?
What are you
Or was it something you were involved in?
What are you talking about? This is absurd. What you're saying is absurd. No. Why would
It may be absurd, my good man, but it is fact.
No. Galabru's Perrine, the respectable gangsters.
Okay.
I mean, the man, Galabru. He looks around. Now, this won't go past you and me, right?
What?
Now, between you and me, I find him a bit unpleasant. But if Helene wants to spend time with the man, I'm her father, not her. Well, I mean her father, but I mean even so, children, they're going to do what they want to do, and if that's what she chooses, how she chooses to spend her time, it's not for me to judge.
Would it surprise
You must set them
though,
free, children. They are like little birds. You set
Would
them
it
free.
surprise you to know that he had something to do with what happened to her?
What do you mean, the brain illness?
Well,
Why would he? That makes no sense. I don't know who you've been listening to. This makes no sense.
it isn't a matter of listening to, it's a matter of we found out.
Yes. You see, I am working for Marguerite.
That explains it. This entire thing. I thought this seemed odd. We passed that building twice now. I insist you take me home immediately. I don't know what game Marguerite's playing, but
Nor does she. She seems to be blissfully unaware of the growing difficulties between the families. But she would like to know how Helene got mixed up in it. And you, my friend, are as mixed up in it as she.
that's absurd. I would never hurt Helene.
Not purposefully, I'm sure. But sowing your wild oats has involved Helene in all kinds of dangers, apparently.
No, that is not true.
Like
That is not true.
daughter. You said
He leans forward and he taps on the back of the car seat to gets Dr. Saladon's attention. You driver, pull over. I'm getting out of the car.
Keep driving.
He sits back and he goes, "No, that's not true. It is absolutely false. I would never involve Helene in any of this, or Marguerite. In fact,
No.
Marguerite, when Marguerite cut me off and said she would no longer pay my debts, I accepted it because I knew that it was the best for them and for the company. So I would never put them in harm's way, ever."
But you set an example.
And you're still in debt to the.
Indeed, but those are my debts, not the girls.
There's someone in.
My debts alone.
Care
Who
if
pays
they
for
are
it?
your debts or your family's debts or your daughter's debts.
No, they are my debts. My debts alone, and I'm handling them. I'm not in debt more than I can handle. No, sir. I'm no fool.
I wonder where he gets the money.
Well then.
Well, Brandon, I'll keep driving, but I gotta take off for the night.
All right.
Well,
Yeah, I'm good.
we shall take you home.
You've basically got all of him out of him, all that you're going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
We shall take you home now, sir, and I will give you the name Bernadette Blanchard.
And who is that? Is that a young lady? Is that he looks at Carol? Is that your name, young woman?
Nope.
He pets your leg, your knee.
No, sir. That's the name of the lady who took care of, who decided to do something to your daughter.
Yes, who ordered the event that happened to the lake.
What? That's monstrous. Monstrous. Driver, he leans forward.
Yes.
Forget what I said about dropping me off. Take me home.
Oh,
immediately.
very good.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You basically have all out of him you're going to get. So we will wrap up here. And your dangling plot threads, should you choose to investigate them, are, I guess, Bernadette Blanchard. I guess she's the only one left.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can just let it go.
New owner, yeah.
What'd you say, Lloyd?
And the casino owner.
Oh, and Calabru, who you've not actually spoken to.
Nope.
Yeah, there's several people you've not actually spoken to, so...
Galabru might be a good idea to speak to.
I'm concerned that
If he really does care about Helena,
Wait, what?
but I said we might definitely want to speak to him. I want to know why he's dating her, and why, and then what he did to her, why he did it to her.
Okay, and what'd you say, Lloyd?
And I said we haven't spoken to those two dangling plot threads because I'm afraid that they might blow up in our face. They're the dangerous ones.
Yeah.
Of the people on your dance card, they're probably the most dangerous. So,
Yep.
what's the worst that could happen?
And when we drop Edward off, I will give him a note to give his youngest daughter, to give Marguerite. And
Saying
it
what?
is Bernadette Blanchard, JD.
You're going to get her killed. You know that, right?
Don't do that.
Are you okay with that?
It's what she wants.
No, she wants you to find out, and you haven't found out yet. All right, up to you. How about you give that some thought? Think about that for a week. All right, here we go. We're wrapping up.
Think about what you've done.
There we go. This has been Rough Magic with Karen Torres, Donald Von Griffin, Leslie Denneberger, Bud Montgomery, and me, the GM. Life seems so much simpler when you've got ghouls in the basement. So.
Get rid of bodies that way.
And it's green, really. It's eco, you know.
Yeah. Yes.
Have a good night, everybody.
Night.
And we will stop recording here.